The first snowfall of winter blanketed the mountains like powdered sugar. My cabin, nestled deep in the Colorado wilderness, stood silent and warm, its windows glowing orange against the darkening woods. I was halfway through my venison stew when the scratching started. Not at the door. The roof. I paused mid-bite. Probably a raccoon, I muttered, but something about the sound, deep, slow, deliberate, made my spine itch. Gun in hand, I crept to the door and stepped onto the porch. The world had gone still. Trees hunched under snowdrifts, and my breath hung heavy in the air. Then I saw it. Movement near the tree line. Fast. Four-legged. But something was off. It moved with the grace of a predator, but its limbs bent wrong. Too long. Too coordinated. I raised the rifle. Then it howled. It wasn't a wolf. Not exactly. The sound was distorted, like something trying to mimic a wolf but getting it almost right. The hair on my arms bristled. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I found tracks, huge ones, looping around the cabin. Clawed. Heavy. No animal I'd seen left prints like that. Still, I figured it had moved on. I spent the day chopping wood and repairing the snow barrier behind the cabin, ignoring the feeling that I was being watched. That night, I bolted awake to a thump. Then another. It was inside. I grabbed the rifle, heart pounding, and crept toward the main room. Curled by the fireplace, a creature lay shivering. Covered in mottled fur, it was half wolf, half human in shape. Muscles coiled beneath skin, matted hair fell over its face, and long claws rested limply against the hearth. And it was bleeding. "What the hell?" I whispered, aiming the rifle. It raised its head slowly, and looked at me. Amber eyes. Not animal eyes. Intelligent. Desperate. In pain. Then it spoke. Its voice cracked like someone learning how to breathe. "Please, warmth, safe, here." The rifle lowered on its own. "You're not from here." It blinked. No. I should have thrown it out. I should have been afraid. But instead, I fetched towels and a thermal blanket, crouched beside her, I realized, and began tending to her wounds. They were deep, jagged, and weeping greenish blood. "You're not just an alien," I said, mostly to myself. "You're something else entirely." Her breath came in shivers. "Hunter, crashed, no home." "You're not gonna die in my cabin," I said quietly. I fed her broth, watched as her body started to regulate heat, and then, exhausted myself, dozed off in the armchair. I woke up to silence. The hearth was cold. The blanket was folded neatly. The towels gone. She was gone. For 3 days, there was no sign of her. The forest stayed quiet. Still, I left food outside the cabin. Call me crazy, but some part of me hoped she'd return. And she did. On the 4th night, just past dusk, she stepped out of the trees. Upright this time. Wrapped in the tattered flannel blanket, still limping but steadier. Her face was more defined now, still alien, but no longer monstrous. Wolf-like, yet oddly beautiful in a way I couldn't explain. "I come back," she said. "Oh, life." "You don't owe me anything," I said, gesturing toward the door. "Come inside. It's freezing." From then on, she became a presence in my life. Quiet. Watchful. She rarely spoke, but I noticed how she observed everything. The fire. My movements. Books. Tools. I started calling her Vara. She didn't protest. She was learning, fast. Her speech improved by the day, and her wounds began to heal. When I asked where she was from, her expression would harden like ice. Far. Not return. Over time, her body began to change. The fur thinned. Her posture straightened. She looked more human by the day, though her eyes remained wild and sharp. I adapt, she explained one morning, eating eggs with an almost childlike curiosity. Survive by changing. To fit. You're a shapeshifter. She nodded. Not werewolf. Not wolf. Not human. I am between. We lived together through the heart of winter. I expected tension, but it was easy. She started helping, splitting logs, fixing the antenna, even humming when she thought I wasn't listening. A strange, melodic tune. Like morning in song. I caught myself watching her more than I should have. Wondering if this was what loneliness had done to me. Or maybe she wasn't so different after all. Then came the snowstorm. Whiteout. I couldn't see 2 feet past the porch. We hunkered down, rationing food and power. I built up the fire while Vara sat near the window, tense. They search, she whispered. I turned. Who? Not mine. Hunters. Other kind. You helped me. Now they hunt you. You're saying I'm a target now? She nodded grimly. They will track me. Smell. See heat. Kill. My breath hitched. So leave. Lead them away. She looked down. I won't leave. Vara, they'll come for both of us. I protect, she growled, voice feral. No. I saved you, remember? You don't owe me anything. Her amber eyes burned. Not debt. Choice. That night, I didn't sleep. Every branch tapping the window made me flinch. But Vara stayed by the door, crouched and alert. A guardian. A storm-born sentinel. They came at dawn. A flash of light split the snow clouds. A drone, sleek and humming, zipped over the trees. Vara lunged outside, faster than I'd ever seen her move. I grabbed the rifle and followed. She didn't transform fully, but her face lengthened, muscles surged, claws sprouted. She became the wolf woman again. The drone fired. She leapt. In a blur of movement, she tore it from the sky. Then the explosion rocked us both backward. The trees caught fire. Snow hissed into steam. I ran to her. Vara. She was burned, bleeding again, but smiling faintly. You stay alive, she whispered. No, I said fiercely. You don't get to save me and vanish again. She looked at me like she couldn't understand. Why? Because I don't want you to leave. Something changed in her gaze. Not wild anymore. Just human. She blinked once. Then I stay. We buried the wreckage under layers of snow. There were no more drones. No more strange tracks. Weeks passed. Spring came. The trees budded. The birds returned. And so did she, every night, curled up in a corner of the cabin, humming softly. Sometimes near the fire, sometimes at the window. Watching stars she once called home. She never left. And I never asked her to.